Hello. I am back with the Janeof801 podcast. Oh, man. Every time I decide to do one of these shows alone, I get stressed out and anxious and very worked up. And also, making these shows when it's 100 degrees outside, oof. And I just turned the air conditioning off in this building because I was worried it was going to mess with the sound. We've got this nice big sound setup with about 6 microphones around it. And as I was setting up for the show, there was this like sound of fireworks happening in the background, no matter what channel I was on. And I have 1 hour to make this show today because I love to just stuff everything I can into one day. So I was like, okay, Jane, you can either bail or you can just do the show with the face camera on your laptop, use the microphone on the laptop, and then put your phone in for IG and just do it this way. The sound quality is probably not going to be that good. Is anything I do ever that good? Anyways, y'all, I'm not totally alone. I do have Nina joining me today. This is my little friend, Nina. I have had the pleasure of babysitting her all week. Her heart is pounding right now. I don't think she was ready to be on camera or being recorded. Also, she has no idea where we are, so I think that's stressing her out a little bit. But she'll be with me today. So today I'm doing a rap by myself. I'm doing a rap by myself. It's really hard to find guests who are in town and available and in alignment and in good places where they're ready to be on a show. At the beginning of this week, I didn't think that I was ready to be on a show. I'll be honest with you guys. This weekend, I had my heart broken by one of my best friends. And it took me down into a really sad, victimized place. To the point where I'm like trying to get my mom's attention. Mom, I need you. My girlfriend's doing a great job of loving me, but of course we always need another person. And by Sunday, I was like way deep down into this victimized place of like, nobody loves me. I'm not good enough. I'm not enough for anyone. And just kind of almost inviting this like lack into my life. So on Monday, when Dave, he texted me or called me, he sent me this message. I honestly didn't understand what it said, but I thought he was asking if I was going to do a show this week. And I was like, Dave, I'm under a lot of stress. I don't know if I'm going to do a show. And then the next day I woke up feeling completely differently. And I knew exactly what I was going to do my show on. Today, I would like to talk about escaping the victim paradigm. Now, if you know what I'm talking about, then that's good. You're aware of it. If you're already feeling triggered by the words that I'm using, then I hope that you don't tune out. Don't click the X in the corner. Hear me out, guys. I believe that I was born into a victim paradigm. I actually believe that a lot of people are. And I believe she's a psychologist. I just discovered her. Her name is Lynn Forrest. She's done a ton of studying on the victim paradigm, and she agrees that you were born into it. A lot of times it can be merely because of like where you fell in the order of your family or what kind of situation you were born into. So for me, I was the second born, and 5 years into my life, there was a divorce in my family. And as a kid, that really didn't affect me much. I didn't think it was weird or sad. I didn't feel very victimized by it. I was like, sweet, Dad got a new house. Cool. Let's go hang out there. And as I got older, I started to learn, oh, I am a child of divorce. okay, I am a victim of this. Okay. And I even had it really put on me by my father. And it's hard for me to even bring him up, but he really put a lot of victim consciousness onto me, and then also would say things like, don't play the victim. And as I'm being emotionally abused and manipulated, and I'm also being told to not play the victim, it was very confusing as a young girl. What do you mean, don't play the victim? I am the victim. I'm an innocent little girl who didn't get picked up from school today, who didn't have a lunch today. So don't play the victim. Well, then what do I play? How do I look out for myself? So growing up in that was really confusing. And I really believe that dynamic, growing up in that dynamic, which some could even call a narcissist empath dynamic, if you've heard of that before. It is where I'm a very empathic person, right? So I really feel the emotions around me. I really like to comfort those around me. I really tune into what others are feeling. And growing up, I didn't know how to discern what was mine and what was somebody else's. So this makes you a really good match for a narcissist, a match made in hell, as my new friend Lynn Forrest would call it. So the story goes for me that I found myself very, very stuck in a very abusive relationship. And I believe fully that the love that I was feeling from this narcissistic person felt so familiar to me. It felt like what love was supposed to feel like. And it felt like the work was on me to bring peace. It was on me to make sure I kept my partner happy. And that if I did anything wrong, it was my fault. And that I wasn't worthy of better. It's some heavy shit, you guys. It really is. And it's really, really hard to face. I believe that I really surrendered to the victim paradigm when I was in my second year of college, and my financial security was being tampered with. My roommate was just always mad at me for everything. Anything wrong I did, I just felt like the worst person when I was around her all the time. I was in a long distance relationship and was only getting to see my partner every 3 months. And that is the time when I really believe I surrendered to the victim paradigm and let it soothe me and hold me and numb me out. It's when I stopped eating. It's when my mental health really started to spiral out of control, because I believed that I was not worthy of anything and that I was simply a victim of circumstance. So let's bring it back to this relationship that I was in, this really bad situation. I thought it was a good situation because it felt like the love I had received from the male figure growing up. It felt so familiar. So it felt good, right? And that's where a lot of this victim paradigm comes from. It comes from when we're very, very young. That inner child really latches onto the victim paradigm. And there was a day. Mel, if you're watching, I'll have to tag you in this. There was a day when somebody called me the fuck out. This woman, an angel, such an angel in my life. She contacted my partner at the time and said, hey, I'm starting a couples coaching practice, and I need testimonials and I need clients, and I was wondering if I could give you guys 6 weeks of free couples coaching in exchange for your testimonials and your feedback. And I'm sitting here going like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds great. Because it's been a year and I've broken up with you 12 times. There's been a lot of unforgivable things that have happened between us. I am painfully in love, and I don't think this is the way it's supposed to be. So when this woman came in, and I'll tag her if anyone wants to go find an amazing coach, couples coach, like, God, I love you, and I hope you know to this day that you gave me permission to have freedom from this. We had been working together for a few weeks, and she was learning more about my childhood, my family story, right? My lineage. And after a while, there was just this one day when she texted me and she said, Jane, I have some things to say to you, and you're not going to like it. It's going to be really hard for you to hear what I have to say. And I was like, okay. What? Like, I got really nervous, right? What do you have to say? She said, Jane, and I'm paraphrasing, Jane, you are giving away your power to your dad, to your girlfriend, to everybody in your life that isn't bringing you joy and excitement and unconditional love. You are giving away your power to them. And you are creating yourself to be a victim under their power. Are you understanding me? No. What do you mean? You don't have to be a victim to your girlfriend anymore. You don't have to be a victim to your dad anymore. Well, but I am, but they love me in this way that, like, it hurts, it's so painful. Exactly, Jane. So you get to make the choice. Is this what you want to continue to allow into your life? Or do you want to say, you know what? No, I'm not a victim to this. I choose otherwise. I choose to be in control of my life and sovereign over my existence. And I'm not going to let any more of these people to come in, take my empathic abilities for granted, take advantage of them, and shove me down into a place where I believe that I'm a victim. This is just, I remember saying to her, this is just how it is. This is just how my relationships are. This is just me. And she challenged that. She said, you know, Jane, I actually think you're really powerful. And if you choose not to be a victim to these people, your life could totally change and you could be so much happier. And she said, think about what I've said, okay? And we're going to check in later. And it took me the whole day to really absorb what she had said to me and really look at myself and really look at the amount of nights and days I spent crying in my bed, just surrendering to how much suffering I had invited into my life. Just like calling it all in. Just, yeah, this is it. This is what I want in my life. This is how it's going to be. So that's kind of my backstory on when I woke the fuck up out of this victim paradigm and decided that I am not living that anymore. And it took me and that couples coach probably 5 more sessions until I could finally break out of that relationship and take control of my life again. And I really would not have been able to do that without her help. Nobody had called me out yet and helped me, but this woman. And for that, I am so, so grateful. So let's talk about how this works. Thanks for protecting me, Nina. So let's talk about how this works. There's a triangle, right? The victim goes on the bottom of the triangle, right here. On the top two sides of the triangle right here, we have the rescuer and the persecutor. This is how the paradigm works. This is how the consciousness works. The victim is always at the bottom, always underneath the power of the persecutor and the rescuer. Hey, no barking. She's barking at little kids outside because, like I said, there's a preschool next door. So that triangle, if that helps you understand, you can be on all sides of the triangle. You can believe that you can save someone, which makes you a rescuer. And you can also believe that you have the power to sabotage other, which makes you the persecutor. And in the end, you will always come down to the bottom. You will always come down to the bottom where you are the victim. And there are literally like 5 kids staring in the window right now. I normally shut the blinds, but I thought I would let some light in. So this is a little bit uncomfortable, I'll be honest. So how do you know if you're trapped in this victim paradigm? I think that's what I would like to call in today, is how do you know that you're trapped in this paradigm when it's literally impossible to see it? I literally could not see it until somebody called me out. So these are things that you can look for, okay? Am I placing blame outside of myself for my circumstances? Do I believe that the things happening in my life are an outside force coming in? And right now there's an outside force trying to distract my show. And so I'm going to close these blinds. Do you see how I did that? Instead of sitting here going, oh my God, there's people knocking on the door, distracting me, ruining my show, I'm such a victim. I was like, okay, I'm going to take control of this situation and close the blinds. Problem solved. This is how you take control. Small example. But how often are you thinking to yourself, well, I have to do this job. I have to go to work. I hate it, but I have to do that. I hate my boss, but I have to do that. My family sucks, but I have to go to this family thing. My relationship is really miserable, but I'm stuck in it. I can't get her to leave. So you are completely surrendering to the victim consciousness. In researching this episode, I found this quote that really, really resonated with me. It says, victim consciousness is extremely seductive because it soothes pain and shields from honest self-reflection. That was something published by the Om Mani Center. Something else they said was, anyone confronting our behavior is quickly dismissed as another insensitive perpetrator. So if Mel had come to me and said, Jane, you are such a victim of your relationship. You know that you have the power to leave this relationship, right? And I was like, you have no idea what it's like. You're just making it worse. You're not sensitive to my situation. You have no idea how bad it is. I can't get out. I'm trapped. I used that word so much. I'm trapped. I could have easily responded to her that way. And she would have probably smacked me upside the head and been like, you listen. When you're stuck in a victim paradigm and someone tries to call you out saying, hey, you're giving your power away. You're creating yourself to be a victim of the things that you're calling in. And I think that you should look at that. I think you should observe and take responsibility for what you've been calling into your life. And see in what parts of your life you have control and power over. And see if you can change. Thank you, Mowgli90, making excuses for the reality that you face. Yes, yes. There is no outside forces affecting you. Nobody forced you to go work that job. Nobody forced you into that relationship. Nobody forced you into that living situation. Perhaps circumstances brought you there, but you get to choose. You are in complete control of your situation. And if you don't believe me, then maybe it's because you're still trapped in that paradigm. And that's why I'm making this episode. Maybe you are too afraid to step into your own power and see what happens when you choose yourself over the circumstances that surround you. And something that Omani Center added to this quote: anyone confronting our behavior is quickly dismissed as another insensitive perpetrator. They said, this is where narcissism can begin to ensue. And the empathic body becomes so secure in that victim state that they believe that that's how it is. And then they start to morph into a narcissistic existence where everybody that's coming towards them is trying to harm them or trying to take away their autonomy or trying to keep them from safety. You're still in the victim paradigm. You can be a narcissist, you can be a savior, you can be a perpetrator and be totally trapped in that triangle, right? The badge of victimhood invites more perpetrators into your life. And that's what I mean by, I was raised with this familiar love, this empath narcissist match made in hell, as Lynn Forrest would say. It was familiar to me. So I attracted a love that was very, very similar into that life, into my life. When I wear my badge of victimhood, this is what we'll call it, when I wear my badge of victimhood, it's showing people around me, oh, she is easy to take advantage of. I'm going to gravitate towards that empath and take advantage of her. I'm not saying perpetrators know this. Nobody is conscious about these things. This isn't a conscious thing we are doing. Narcissists don't know that they're narcissists. Perpetrators don't know that they're doing this. Empaths don't know that they're falling into this victimhood. And that is why I'm talking about it right now. Because you don't know. We can get so comfortable in victimhood because we don't have to try. Again, I'm speaking from experience. I would get into a fight with my girlfriend on a Friday night, spend all day in bed on Saturday, cancel my plans I had with friends, probably get stoned and binge watch Netflix, probably eat shit food and start drinking too early in the day, because that's what victims do. All because I got in a fight with my girlfriend. I'm just gonna really lean into that. I'm gonna really lean into it and keep on perpetrating this pattern in my life. Because it's so soothing to be a victim. It's so easy to be a victim. We can get very comfortable there. So here's the honest truth about the victim paradigm. The honest truth is that nobody is coming to save you. And if someone is coming into your life saying, I'm here to save you, you should run the fuck the other way. When I was 18, I flew to Cambodia, went into a village and said, I'm here to bring you clean water. At that time, I had no idea that I was in the paradigm of white saviorism and victim consciousness. These people in a third world country, in a small village, don't have clean water. They're victims. I'm a savior. I'm going to go there and save them. And let me tell you, as soon as I got there, even though I was young and uneducated, something did not feel right to me. Something did not feel right. And now I understand what that not good feeling was. I realize these people aren't victims. These people know exactly what they're doing. They know how to use this water filter better than I do. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? No one is coming to save you. And I think I talked about this a little bit in my last solo rap, my abundance episode. No one is coming to pay your bills. No one is coming to wipe out your debt. No Prince Charming, no rich man is going to come into your life and just give you everything you want. If that's what you want, you are still trapped in victim consciousness. And you will never have power or sovereignty over your life. So observe, who are you hoping is going to save you? Because I remember feeling that way. I remember hoping a man or woman would come into my life and just, oh, Jane, you're so wounded, you poor thing. I'm going to love you and I'm going to fix it. That's not real, people. This isn't real, okay? Get into a reality where you have power, where you get to save yourself, where you get to be the hero of your own story, where you never have to take anybody's shit ever again because you are sovereign over your entire energetic sphere. No object, no person, no sound, no energy can come into your space and make you feel unsafe because you are sovereign over yourself. Everything that comes into my field is immediately purified. I've worked on this energetic field, and if someone scary comes into this field, I'm going to say, hello. What can I do for you? I will be completely unfazed because I'm not afraid. If someone's holding a gun to my head, yeah, I'm going to be fucking scared because there is a point at which you are a literal victim. Victims of sexual abuse, victims of violence, victims of disease. There is a time when your victimhood needs to be validated, and I am not saying that you shouldn't validate it. I have done the inner child work where I go and I see my 6-year-old self who is afraid and alone and scared, and my adult self is there holding her saying, you will never be alone. I will always be with you. And when that young 6-year-old girl on the quantum field feels truly that someone is there for her, keeping her safe, watching her, that heals me today in the present to know that I am not alone. I am never alone. And I always have myself, and I always have power over my situation. So if you're still wondering, am I stuck in the victim paradigm? How do I escape it? Here are some things that I would ask you to explore. Who am I blaming for my suffering? Who am I blaming? Oh, if my big sister weren't so mean to me growing up. I've heard this a lot. Oh, my sister used to just tell me all the time how dumb I am, so I guess I'm dumb. Oh, lots of little hearts just came up at that. Who are you blaming? Who are you blaming for you being the way you are, for your suffering? Whose fault is it? Where are you giving your power away? And this is those words might not be very easy to understand. Where are you giving your power away? So here's an example. This is actually, to me, a really funny example. I was serving tables the other night. If you want to learn how we give our power away, go work at a restaurant. One customer gives you a wrong look, and you're like, fuck that guy. That guy ruined my night. I hate him. I watch this all night long. I'm a victim of this, you guys. The other night, it's really, really slow night. And I'm like, Shambhala, give me money. Please send me money. I really can't go home with just $20 tonight. And then a table comes in. And I go, they just kind of came in and sat down. And I was like, hey guys, how many we got 4? You guys want to be served? And they're like, yeah, we don't know how many. What would you do if there were like 20 to 40? And my heart starts pounding. 20 to 40? You don't know how many are coming? Well, we sent out a Facebook invite to 100 people to have Taco Tuesday here tonight at 7:30. My restaurant does not hold 100 people, and we close at 9. And I was the closer, so I was responsible for all the people. My heart is pounding. And I literally wanted to like flip the table and be like, fuck you guys for doing this to me. For doing this to me. Because when they made their Facebook event, they were like, that's server Jane, let's go fuck her over. For doing this to me. Of course, I didn't say that. I was like, oh, wow, I'm guessing you guys have never served tables before. And they were like, no, sorry. And then one of the guys goes, but I'm going to put everyone here on one bill. I'm going to pay for all of it. Does that help? And I was like, okay, yeah, that helps. I'm less mad. That's great. And I went back into the bar, and I wanted to throw a fucking fit. I wanted to be totally victimized by these people. Who does that? How inconsiderate, how rude. I'm just a server. Why would you do that to me? And then I thought, wait a minute, didn't I just ask for money? And now there's, give or take, 100 people coming in for me to serve and make money off of? How can I take control of this situation? Finally, I started laughing at how funny it was. And I went over to the table and I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. As soon as there's 10 people at this table, I'm going to cut it off and we're going to start another table. I'm going to pass you to another server. After those 10, we're going to cut it off. We're going to start another table, different server, you know, just so that I'm literally, my heart was pounding so fast. I was like, this is going to be horrible. Okay, I took control of the situation. They responded well, right? People like when someone's in control. 40 people ended up coming in. About 14 of them were mine. They were an easy table. They really were so easy. And I made $50 in 1 hour off of them. And they were so nice to me. And they were so grateful. And that was a moment where I literally was like, if I am victimized by these people and pissed off at them, I'm saying, no money, I don't want you. I just want to give my power away to these people who just wanted to have a fun Taco Tuesday, and we're obviously doing a little social experiment. They tipped me well more than 20%. They even gave cash to the kitchen. These were really nice people. What they did might have been a little bit inconsiderate, but once I could laugh about it and smile at them and just say, what the fuck can I get y'all to drink? Everything got so much easier, you guys. And I see this happen at my restaurant all the time. All the time. Tables come in, I can't seat them, they get pissed off, and then I feel bad. And I get all like, oh, talk to my manager. And I'm just done doing that. So that's an example of giving your power away. When a table comes in and acts like they're going to take control of my situation, when in fact what they really want me to do is take control of the situation for them so that they can relax and enjoy themselves and so that I can do my job. Where are you giving your power away? Look through the whole day. Look through the whole day. Maybe you see something on Instagram that pisses you off, and then all of your energy goes into that. That is your power just leaving you. We call it energetic leaks. Your energy is leaking towards these other things that don't fucking matter. Who am I hoping will come save me? Well, maybe one day my dad will change and he'll come make everything right. Well, maybe the perfect woman will come into my life and she'll fix everything. Who's thought that way? Maybe if I buy a tiny little toy poodle, this little animal will fix everything. Can you fix everything? Oh, thanks. No, nobody can save you. Nobody can fix it. Guess who the hero of your story is? You. You are the hero of your story, okay? I'm the hero of my story. I can tell you that for fucking sure. I got myself through recovery twice. I got myself through college when I was sick as fuck the whole time. I came out to the world as queer because no one else could do that for me. I got myself out of a relationship that was literally killing me. Nobody else could have done that for me. Nobody could have done that for me. Nobody. And if you need help, y'all, I don't want to sound lame or corny, but this is what life coaches are for. I, at first, didn't really understand what life coaches were and thought it was kind of like a silly idea, like maybe around therapy. But having someone remind you that you are in power and that nobody can take that away from you and that they're supporting you, checking in every day, emailing you, giving you tools, giving you reminders, I've got your back. That's what life coaches are for. And we're in a time in our society when that industry is thriving because it is needed. It is so needed. Because we are all stuck in these lower vibration consciousnesses. And we don't know how to get out of them. And if Mel had never come into our lives, who the fuck knows where I would be right now, you guys? I don't even want to go there because obviously it was destined that she would show up and teach me to be my own savior. And I'm so grateful for that. So who are you hoping will come save you? And what would it feel like to take your power back? How would it feel to say, you know what, Mom and Dad? I'm not going to do what you tell me to do anymore. I'm not going to feel shitty that I'm not the kid you wanted me to be anymore. I'm not going to hide my sexuality from the world to make you comfortable anymore. I'm going to go do whatever the fuck I feel like doing because this is my life, this is my sovereignty, and I get to do whatever I want. Maybe that sounds immature. Maybe that sounds ungrateful. Maybe that sounds like a privileged ass attitude. But that's just not the reality that I'm living in right now, you guys. How would it feel to take your power back? Quit that job, end that friendship, move out of that shitty living environment. Tell that family member, hey, I love you, but I gotta create some boundaries here because this interaction is feeling really toxic and I don't feel good after we spend time together. That is taking control. That is taking your power back. And when we can escape this victim paradigm, oh my God, you guys, you're free. This is what freedom feels like. I've always asked myself, I've always wondered, what does freedom actually feel like? Because as Americans, we're obsessed with it. But what does freedom actually feel like? And And for me, freedom feels like breaking free from victimhood and knowing that I am always in control. I am always safe. I am always cradled and supported and loved by the universe. My hands are the universe. This puppy is you. Holding it, loving it, nurturing it. I'm the universe and Nina is you, always being held, always being loved, always safe, even when you're ignoring it and you don't want to look at it and you don't want to notice it and you want to put your attention on the things that make you scared. The universe is always holding you, keeping you safe, always. So when you find that freedom, you get to call in whatever you want. And it's really cool. It's really cool. I want to live in a better house. Go look for it. I want to get a better job. Call that in. I want a relationship with myself that's better. Work on that. This is what freedom is about. Okay? There's so much to say on this subject, you guys. And if anyone listening or watching has any questions right now, like, go ahead and jump in. There's just so much to say about this. If you believe that you are stuck in a victim paradigm, the first thing I want you to do is validate your victimhood. Validate the inner child that feels like she's not getting what she needs. Validate that feeling of, this doesn't feel good. And follow it with, I don't deserve this. I deserve better. And I'm going to go get better. I'm going to go find what I really want, and I'm going to live that. You are now the empowered adult that gets to validate that victimized inner child and take care of her and be in control of the situation. Okay? Show up for that inner child. Be her protector. And if you start noticing yourself, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. That doesn't feel good. That makes me feel unsafe. You better check yourself. Because the more you give your attention to all these things that you don't like, every single point is just attracting it more and more to you, you guys. This is simple law of attraction stuff. If you're putting all your focus on how much you don't like your life, all day long, I don't like this, I don't like that coffee, I don't like this guy, I don't like that client, I don't like that restaurant, I don't like this car, I don't like that it's hot outside. Well, guess what? You're going to attract more and more and more of those things you don't like into your life. And you're going to be so trapped. And it's going to feel so comfortable to you. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anybody. I really don't. That's why I'm making this show right now. I want you to know that you are always in control and you always have a choice, okay? Take responsibility for what you've called in. I know that I allowed an abusive relationship into my life, and I'm still forgiving myself for that, you guys. But guess what? After I had that huge awakening and decided to break free from victim consciousness, all of a sudden, the most beautiful woman I have ever seen came into my life. And she had been there all along. But I was so trapped and so victimized that I had no idea she was there. And when I did notice her, I thought, there's no way I'm good enough to have someone like that. So I kept working on myself and growing and taking power back into my life. And guess what? She was literally waiting for me to realize that I was worthy of her and to give her a fucking chance. This is what happens when you break free from victimhood and take control of what you want, okay? I have quit 3 jobs this year. I have gone to Nepal twice. I have gone and done everything I want to do because I broke free from that paradigm and thought, I deserve better. I'm not a bad person. Victims believe that they're bad people and that they deserve what's coming to them. But guess what? Most of us are empaths who are literally just feeling the collective suffering and have no idea how to escape it. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess that if you're watching this, you're probably a good person. You're probably a good person. And if you've made mistakes in the past, I know I have, take responsibility for that and own it and say, I'm going to do better. Forgive yourself and forgive all of those around you. Say, I'm going to break free from this paradigm and I'm going to do better. And I'm going to call in better. So there's one last little part of this that I want to go over. And this is the notion of safe spaces. I went to a very liberal college in Southern Oregon, Eugene. Let's go Ducks. And safe spaces were everywhere. Which meant you don't talk about being raped. You don't talk about your eating disorder. You don't talk about your suicidal tendencies. You don't use any type of homophobic language. You don't use any type of hate speech. You don't do anything that might trigger somebody. If you're going to mention something triggering, you go, trigger warning, so that people can cover their ears. And you know, my generation's getting a pretty bad rap for these safe spaces. And I actually think that it's fueling the right, conservative, to call us victims. I believe that this notion of millennial safe spaces is allowing us to stay in our victimhood and attract more abuse, especially from the conservative right. Okay? So how should a safe space feel? I believe in safe spaces. Trust me. If you come into my home, if you come on this show, if you and I are having a conversation, if you're in one of my classes, it is a safe space. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to be triggered. And if when you are in my space, and if when we are conversing, something triggers you, that's beautiful. Be triggered. Tell me about it. Oh, Jane, that just really triggered me. Why? What happened there? Tell me. What happened there? When we can look at our triggers instead of expect the world to blind us from our triggers, we can see what's there and work through them. Well, I'm really triggered because, oh, wow, this one time this thing happened. And I guess that my sympathetic nervous system is still reacting from that experience, and you just reminded me of it, and it didn't feel good to be reminded of that. That is such a valid experience. That is so valid, and that is so okay. But if you're like, whoa, you just triggered me, get out, not safe, I'm not safe here, I'm sorry. You're never gonna grow. And I'm sorry to all my friends at that liberal college who believed that these safe spaces were protecting them. That's something I loved about Take Back the Night. It is all around gathering and sharing stories of being assaulted, sexually abused, rape. It's really not easy to talk about. It's really not easy to hear about. But if we can talk about it and validate the victimhood and then claim responsibility and power over it and say, never again, that is how we begin to heal. So, safe spaces should allow vulnerability. If you're in a safe space with me, you can say whatever is on your mind. Whatever is on your mind, no matter how horrifying or scary or triggering. It should allow triggers. When I started this amazing sacred relationship that I'm in right now, we triggered the fuck out of each other. Oh my God. Like, constantly. And I'd be like, oh my God, okay, you're being triggered right now. What's going on? Let's talk through this. And now, it takes a lot for us to trigger each other. Not because I know her triggers and avoid them, but because we've worked through them together and it just no longer does anything. You're no longer triggered by it. And they should also allow us, these safe spaces should allow us to challenge victimized thinking. So if you want to put all the blame on that guy over there that hurt you years ago for why you're not happy right now today, I'm going to challenge you. And you probably won't like it. But I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to say, how are you giving that guy all of your power to make you so miserable? And what are you going to do to take over your own energy again, your own energetic field again? Make it yours again. Come back to yourself and make a vow to yourself. I am always safe. I am always protected. As long as I have myself, my power, my sovereignty over my energetic space, nobody can fuck with my peace. Nobody can fuck with me. Okay? So as you go throughout these next few days, just notice where that happens. Yes, Mowgli, forgiveness is key. Oh my God, forgiveness is so key. So key. If you can't forgive your perpetrators, you will stay stuck in victim consciousness and you will invite more perpetrators into your life. Because you're easy bait. You're already vibrating at that level. They're going to come right to y'all. So, that's what I have to say on that subject. If anyone has any questions on that, throw them in now. If you want to talk to me about this privately, you can send me a message. You can email me, janelion369@gmail.com. Facebook message me, Instagram message me. And I would like to just end this show today with a little guided meditation, okay? So if you're watching or listening, just take a comfortable seat. Let your arms rest in your lap in any way comfortable, and let's just take a nice breath in. Exhaling out the mouth. Breathing in again. Exhaling out the mouth. Begin to observe the energy that surrounds you. Observe the energetic field that surrounds you. Perhaps as you exhale, you can feel your energy expand outward. We all have an auric field. We all do. And you can feel it around you. You can touch it. Perhaps it is as big as your arms. Perhaps it goes further. I can tell you that mine goes a lot further. Observe the energy around you, your energetic field, and choose a color. And observe a shield around your body of this really vibrant color. Really, really mindfully building that shield around the body, around the auric field. Really feeling from your heart center, your blood flow outside your body, the energy surrounding you, into this great orb of energy around you. This is your energetic field, and it's always around you. And now that you've put it there, you see what it looks like, you feel how it feels, you see the color, you know how big it is. Observe when people come into that field. Observe the purity of everyone that comes into your field. Nobody gets to make you feel unsafe. Nobody gets to make you feel afraid without your permission, okay? Really meditate on that field, and maybe if there's little patches where it's broken down, just like a mime, just it's always around you, always protecting you, okay? You are always safe. You are always protected. As long as you have trust in the universe will have your back. If you don't have trust, if you live in fear, if you don't like everything around you, I'm sorry. You're stuck in that consciousness, and I can't do anything to get you out of it except for make this show. But when you take power over your life and your energetic field, and you know that everything that comes towards you is purified as soon as it's in your field, nothing can harm you. No energetic vampires, no victims. No victims. No victims. What if there were no victims? What if we prayed for the perpetrators and the victims? Because the victims are the perpetrators. As I end this solo rap Janeof801 podcast, it is my wish that as we go into the world, we remember that we're safe. We remember to be kind. We remember to be loving. We remember to have unconditional trust and faith in the universe. We remember that where we put our energy is what we're attracting. We remember that as long as I wake up every day with the intention to be more loving and more kind, then I can never do any harm. I can never do any wrong, and I will never deserve to be a victim of anything. Thank you so much for watching this show today. I have no idea what show is going to be next, which is just the fun of the unknown, okay? So if you're listening, please drop me a note, drop me a line, let me know you're out there. Let me know you like it. Let me know you want to hear more about. Please. I'm just going to keep making this show the way I think it should be made until I hear from someone who wants to tell me what they want to hear more of. Okay? Sending so much love out there. Bye-bye, everybody. Until next time, this has been the Janeof801 podcast.